Resident Evil 4 is widely regarded as one of the greatest survival horror games of all time, and the remake certainly lives up to that legacy. The game follows Special Agent Leon Kennedy as he attempts to rescue the president's daughter from a cult in a remote European village. Along the way, he encounters all manner of grotesque monsters and must use his wits and weapons to survive. One of the biggest improvements in the remake is the graphics. The game looks absolutely stunning, with highly detailed environments and character models that really bring the horror to life. The lighting effects are particularly impressive, creating a creepy and foreboding atmosphere that will have you on the edge of your seat. But it's not just the visuals that have been improved. The gameplay has been tweaked as well, with more responsive controls and a smoother overall experience. The shooting mechanics have been updated to feel more modern and satisfying, and the game features a new over-the-shoulder camera perspective that really puts you in the middle of the action. One new gameplay feature is the introduction of adaptive difficulty. In the original game, difficulty levels were fixed, but in the remake, the game will adjust the difficulty based on the player's performance. If a player is struggling with a particular section, the game will ease up on the difficulty to help them progress, while if a player is breezing through a section, the game will increase the difficulty to provide a greater challenge. Another new feature is the addition of a dodge mechanic. Players can now dodge enemy attacks by pressing a button at the right moment, allowing them to avoid damage and counterattack. This adds a new layer of strategy to combat, as players must time their dodges correctly and choose the right moment to strike back. In addition, enemies now have improved AI, making them more intelligent and unpredictable in their behavior. For example, enemies will now duck or dodge when the player aims at their heads, forcing the player to adjust their aim and strategy. Enemies will also try to flank the player and use cover more effectively, making combat more dynamic and challenging. Finally, the game features new contextual melee attacks, allowing players to perform different melee attacks depending on the situation. For example, players can perform a knife attack to break an enemy's shield or perform a finishing move on a weakened enemy. This gives players more options during combat and adds a greater sense of variety to the gameplay. These new gameplay features help to make Resident Evil 4 Remake feel like a fresh and exciting experience, while still retaining the core survival horror elements that made the original game so memorable. Of course, there are some elements of the original game that have been retained as well. The puzzles are still challenging and rewarding, and the boss fights are still as tense and memorable as ever. And while some fans may miss the tank controls and fixed camera angles of the original, the new perspective really does add a new level of immersion to the game. Overall, Resident Evil 4 Remake is a fantastic update to an already great game. Whether you're a long-time fan of the series or a newcomer to survival horror, this game is definitely worth checking out. The graphics, gameplay, and atmosphere all come together to create a truly unforgettable horror experience.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, click below to subscribe button, hit the bell and get more content like this every week.